the college. We would request you to give your details with an email ID in the chat. Thank you, and over to you, Dr. Nagarajan.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. I welcome every one of you. Thank you for joining with us for SIM IBM webinar series. This is session number 3. Today we are going to have a session on artificial intelligence. This is Dr. Nagarajan. I am the principal of Surendra Institute of Engineering and Management, Siliguri, West Bengal. I am one of the convener of this series. First, I would like to welcome and thank our governing body members of SIM, Mr. Ramvilas Agarwal, President of Vidya Bharati Foundation, and Mrs. Kamlesh Agarwal, Pro VC, Delhi Public School. Thank you so much, sir and madam, for your guidance and support. Next, I would like to welcome our chairman, Mr. Sarath Agarwal, and our director, Mrs. Snigdha Agarwal. I convey my sincere gratitude for their constant support and encouragement for conducting such program in our campus for the benefits of students and faculty. Next, I would like to welcome Mrs. Sumastri Raghunath, one of the convener of this webinar series. She is a senior IT professional from IBM. She is author, blogger, poet, lawyer, diversity social activities and motivational speaker, and vice president of EBIT. Madam, thank you so much for your excellent support for organizing this webinar series in our campus for the benefit of both students and faculty member. Next, I would like to welcome one of the coordinator from the IBM side, Josika S. And she is the infrastructure specialist as well as my student. Thank you, Josika, for your wonderful coordination for making this event possible today. And my sincere gratitude to the entire CSR team of IBM who are directly and indirectly supporting for the successful conduct of this webinar series. And with a small introduction, I request, Madam, would you like to say a few words? Master ma'am.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much once again for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Today in our session, Nalini is going to take you through how artificial intelligence works and also what are the career options, what are the courses that you can do, and how you can actually benefit and how artificial intelligence is going to be part of our lives going forward. So all the very best for the session to Nalini and also the entire team participating here, and wish you all the best ahead. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Madam Babri ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can start the introduction.
Okay, sir. Good morning to the entire participants. I am Dr. Papri Ghosh, Assistant Professor from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Would like to welcome you all to the session on artificial intelligence of the series of IBM webinars jointly conducted by IBM and Surendra Institute of Engineering and Management, West Bengal. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker of the session, Nalini, who is working in the IT industry for the last 17 years. She has worked as a senior developer, application architect. She is a specialist in technologies like point of sales, middleware-based solutions, cognitive computing, and cloud computing. She is passionate about research areas like quantum computing and the artificial intelligence. She also holds multiple patents and publications. She is an active member in IBM STEM and the Atal Innovation Mission AIM, which is a flagship initiative set up by the Niti Aayog, Government of India. So no more wasting the time anymore. I would like to request Nalini to start the session now. Over to you, Nalini.
Nalini, you're on mute. Can you please unmute yourself, Nalini?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you so much for the details. Yeah, let me start with the presentation now. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a new term. You guys already know about artificial intelligence. In a lot of news you are hearing. This session is mainly to understand what is artificial intelligence and what is the practical benefits of using it and how far it reach the human race, how far it can reach up to the human intelligence, right? And also, I will also show the demo of one of the interesting artificial intelligence products from IBM, that is Watson, IBM Watson, and show you how you can, in reality, how you can utilize that application. Okay, so mainly the artificial intelligence we are covering here is mainly on how far it reached till now. Okay, so what are the major technologies utilized, and what are the various things grown till now. So all those things I will explain in this presentation. You will get a, overall idea about what is happening outside on artificial intelligence, and also how it benefits human race, and as well as what are the what are the trends right now. Okay, so let's start with what is AI. So as you all know, like it is like we are mimicking the human, right? So that is a major. Um, uh, uh, that's what the artificial intelligence mainly on. So the thing is that the human wants someone to help them than him. So, for example, some of the activities human do better than the machines, and some of the activities the machines can do better than human. So, for example, as a million trillions of calculations, the machine can do quickly than human. We have human computer like Shashmindala Devi. She can do a lot of calculations, but so only we can find it in rarely in one crore people, right? So the machines will help us. Like a lot of supercomputers are available, so those can do a lot of calculation in a span of a second, milliseconds or nanoseconds. So the thing is that the creating a computing system that have the ability to perform tasks like human or even better than humans. Okay, so that is the main intent of artificial intelligence. This term coined on 1956. Okay, and this is idea seeded on earlier in 1950s. So that the people right now we are in a very good shape, but we have a lot of things to do in this area. Okay, so this is mainly on. We have you guys are IT, you are students in studying IT and all, right? So you know the basic things of what is computing, like what are the things you can do in computing, like algorithms. You are doing coding in different languages. So these and all it will do only a specific task, right? For example, in your program can do check like whether the some calculation on banking and all those things. But this artificial intelligence main intent is like to make the computer to think like human and do whatever human currently doing right now. Okay, so it is mainly on in uh, adding the human intelligence to the machine. But how can we do that? Because human brain is storing a lot of information, and its processing is too complex. So how we can add that complexity to the machine? So that is the main research area is going on now. So the thing is that we can have different categories of AI. For right now, we have three categories like narrow AI, strong AI, and super AI. Narrow AI is nothing but it is doing a specific task, and it is also having the limited perspectives and learning. And for example, if it is a healthcare system, so if you want to do some specific task on healthcare, it can do only the healthcare related things. The machine is trying to do only to do the healthcare related things. And the next category is strong AI. So this is like it is still progressing. Okay, there is no machine like human till now, that is very sure. But what it will do is like it will do almost what human is doing right now. It has its own learning capacity. Okay, and so a lot of research are going on now, and we are seeing the information or what are the recent trends in the news right now. And super AI, it is to bypass the human intelligence, so the machine can be superior than human. So that is, and it is completely under research, and so we are nowhere near to that, but we are still going on that. So the thing is that a lot of new things are happening right now, like quantum computing, and also that is actually it will provide a way to make the machine to think like human. Okay, so this artificial intelligence is a broad category, and under that we have a lot of things available. So so here we'll go to very specific details, like what are the different um, uh, different types and all those things, and what are the applications AI is providing, and what are the focus areas the AI is offering. So all those things we can see now. So since a lot of computation and as we all know, the human can think on his own perspective, right? So if you see a particular thing and you can see only in your what you can see, right? What is your perspective and what you made of, right? So in that perspective only you can see anything. But machine also, machine we can add more perspectives into that. For example, if 10 humans collectively seeing one incident, that means we'll get 10 different stories out of that, right? So based on that, we can conclude what is exactly there in that incident. The same way, the machine also trained like it can think like 10 different perspectives on the same incident and come back with the analysis of that particular incident. So it is like it will help the human to understand things more even better. For example, if it is an expert in astronomy or astrophysics or healthcare or transport, so they know some part of the things if they are expert also, okay. But the machine will provide a way like it will provide more information to that expert and to think differently, to think out of box of way. Like for example, we have a lot of prediction models available right now. So using that, it will provide a lot of information about a particular analysis, and the human, it will provide a human like, oh, we can think like this and come back with the different options. So the AI application right now, it is all spread across all these categories like astronomy, healthcare, transport, agriculture, education, social media, data security, and gaming. And so the gaming is a very famous thing. The AI is hugely involved right now. And the focus in the area of AI is like general intelligence. General intelligence is nothing but the machine can be expert in multiple areas. For example, we know supercomputer from IBM competed with Gary Kasparov for a chess competition and win that, right? So it is only intended for playing the chess game. But general intelligence is nothing but day-to-day activities, and it will do a lot all the things what human is right now doing. And also knowledge, so how much knowledge it gather from the universe or in and around us, and motion, manipulation, natural language processing, perception, so how to perceive different things and in different way, and the planning and reasoning and problem solving. The reasoning and problem solving is a very complex area, like how the human think like human, and how the machine think like human, and solve any problem we are providing to him. For example, we have a lot of problems like climate change, or recently we have COVID-19. So all those problems, a lot of people are involved in providing the solution for that. So how the machine can involve in that analysis. So that's and all the main focus area of artificial intelligence. So now we can come to the timelines. What are the different progress? What are the progress due to in the timeline? So 1940 we all know. So modern computer is invented, and 1943 the evaluation of artificial intelligence came. So initially the computers is only doing for computing, like it is only do the some calculations if the program is provided. If the coding option is available, then it just do what is a very specific task like calculations or storing the information and retrieving the information. Okay, so that is the main thing earlier computer utilized. And so 1950 there is an invention of Turing machine. So Turing machine is nothing but how the it is a testing. It is a test. It is a test conducted in the machine, whether that is thinking like a human or not. That I will cover in the next slide. And 1956, the word artificial intelligence introduced, and then for the first chatbot Eliza is introduced on 1964. So we have a lot of progress happening on NLP, computer vision, and robotics in 1960 and 70 era. And 1990 to 2000, so there is a lot of things happened there at that time. So there is a data mining, data science introduced, and so IBM Deep Blue supercomputer win the world chess champion, and also there is a break in between 1964 to 1990s. So that is called AI winter. That means there is no progress happened at that time because funding is cut off at that time, and no one is interested on investing more on artificial intelligence. Any questions? Or
No, ma'am. As of now, no questions has come.
okay, sure. Yeah, and so in 2000, from 2010 to present, so we have a lot of progress happening and a lot of interesting things happening. And so we have IBM Watson won Jeopardy game. So it is like human is winning the quiz kind of competition. The IBM Watson machine has won the against others. Experts in that competition, and 2012 launch of Google now, and so we have right now we are having virtual assistant era. So we have a lot of assistant chatbots are helping humans to for a lot of activities like healthcare, customer care, and all this stuff. So nowadays the machine involvement in areas are very huge, and a lot of things are happening in artificial intelligence right now. So it is all the practical applications are right now. It is uh, 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 it is flourishing right now. So, how we verify whether the machine is thinking like human, right? So there is a famous test. It is called Turing test. It is invented by the mathematician Alan Turing. Okay, so he is mainly, or the imitation game. There is a movie. If you see that, then you will know very well about this one. So it is like whether we see like whether the machine is thinking like human. There is a test happen. Okay, so there is will be an interrogator. So they are sitting in between the machine and the human. They know who is machine. They don't know who is machine and who is a human. Okay, so the interrogator do the communication both of them. Okay, and he understand like he reveal like who is human. Okay, so if the person he revealed is a machine, then the machine passed the Turing testing. Okay, so the thing is that there is one machine again Ghostman, which simulates 13-year-old Ukraine boy. It is said to have passed the Turing test. Okay, in that panel they are having around 13 interrogator to test that particular machine, and they have around 40 percentage of score for that machine. So they just told like this machine is passed the Turing test. It's like they will ask a lot of questions and see like how the machine is responding, and also compare what is the real world human, so how they respond. So both of things they consider during the Turing test. So for fun, so we have a different version of Turing test, up to 4. So in the first test they will check whether the human is good at human conversation, and the second version they're checking whether in the machine is talk about sports, like the passionate sports person, and also the machine can discuss the politics in Turing test 3, and see how it is involved in politics, and also in the Turing test 4. So it can arrange a party like human. So that kind of growth they are expecting in the artificial intelligence, and the Turing test is highly aligned with that process. Okay. So So this and all, till now I just mentioned about what is artificial intelligence and what are the major application and focus areas of artificial intelligence, and what are the different timelines and what is the progress on artificial intelligence till now, and some details about Turing test. So you are, if you are interested, you can go to net and see what are the things happening in Turing testing, and what is a conversation. It is also available in the net, so you can see all those things and see and understand what is the expectation and what is the reality. Okay, so we can play a lot with this technology, this artificial intelligence, and a lot of things are available. So right now, earlier it was very difficult, okay, to learn a new things or learn new models or something like that. We need to see the books and see what is there. But right now you have lot of facilities available, like a lot of people, a lot of sites like Google and all, creating lot of competitions. So using competition, you can quickly learn all the things. So now we will come under the main area of artificial intelligence. What are different things that are available? Okay, so you might heard about all these terms like machine learning, deep learning, cognitive computing, and all. So how it relates to each other? Okay, so that's what I'm going to explain here. So artificial intelligence, as we go through the previous slides, it is like mimicking the human intelligence. Sometimes if you come up with some joke like it is simply a if then else code. Okay, so if it is coming into this point, then go here, else go here, something like that. But it is not really, in reality it is not like that. We have a lot of algorithms involved, so we have machine learning. Okay, so the machine learning is actually here I want to say about the mathematical maths involvement in this area. Okay, so in statistics we have a lot of models, prediction models available. Okay, so all those things are utilized in machine learning, okay, to enable to machines to improve the task with experience. Okay, it is like analyzing a lot of unstructured data or structured data. So in the unstructured, the example is like in database, you guys right now are interacting with the database and all, right? MySQL or a lot of database, you are Oracle. So all those things you are correctly connecting to get the data from the database, right? So that is a structured data. So because each and every data is tagged with the name. Okay, for example, if it is a place, if it is West Bengal, then it is a state. That is a tag name of that particular data. So the unstructured data come in different way, like it's a big documents, okay, and blogs, and we have a lot of posts in right now going through in Twitter, social media. So a lot of unstructured data coming in different sources, but how the machine can learn all those things, right? Because when a kid is born, so it has very limited information, and once it grows, it gather all the information in and around his area, and it learns automatically and come back with the full human being, like he knows lot of things when he grows, right? The same way, the machine also, we need to train it and make it to understand like humans. So what are all the processes? Who is doing is only human to make the machine understand. Okay, so the thing is that the machine learning is mainly on some statistical techniques, that is a predefined statistical techniques, so that the machine learn using those algorithms. So all the statistical techniques are converted into the algorithm. So and those algorithms are utilized to process the data and come back with the structured models. Okay, so that's what the machine learning. The deep learning is not like that. It is intent. That means the human has some intent to learn something better, right? So they have the natural capability to understand things without any training. In a similar way, the deep learning involves like that. What it will do is like it get all the unstructured data, it process itself and come back with different models. So in machine learning, we provide the model and it process the data, but in deep learning, the model itself, the machine will choose. Okay, so the after processing the data, the different models will come out from that particular analysis. Okay, so these are the major difference between the machine learning and deep learning. So the machine learning and deep learning are under the roof of artificial intelligence. So the next is, so this is very common for all the artificial intelligence, because different companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and IBM are doing a lot of research in artificial intelligence. But the IBM way of doing artificial intelligence is cognitive computing. So it is on top of all this artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So the cognitive computing, the term introduced by IBM, is mainly on uh, to make machines to help humans. Okay, so it's a kind of some associate that will help human to do better. Okay, so it also has the ability of what human has, and also it is also trying to understand how brain works the similar way they mimic the brain in machines also. Okay, so that's what the cognitive computing come into the picture. It will add the cognitive ability, that means consciousness, what human has, right? So the same thing, it tries to add that element into artificial intelligence. So that's what it called cognitive computing. So from the and also, for example, right now IBM computers are hugely involved in understanding various drugs, the chemical compounds in healthcare industry, and also it will scan the different reports of cancer patients and come back with a decision like you can provide this medicines for this cancer patient, because it analyzes lots and lots of unstructured cancer document reports, and come back with a solution like, and it will suggest like you can go with this option for this patient so that he can cure it better. Okay, so the doctor will get the information from the system, and he will decide what to do next. Okay, so that's what the thing, this cognitive computing from IBM is helping different industries now. Okay, any questions or
Yes, ma'am. Two questions has come as of now.
okay.
Milan Kumar Rokaya has asked one question is, are there any disadvantages of artificial intelligence? This
No,
is
no,
first question. Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
yeah, 1 second. Let me see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any disadvantages of artificial intelligence? This is the first question, ma'am.
Yeah.
And yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the disadvantage is like you see a lot of movies, right, in Hollywood and all. So if it is, for example, I told you initially about the super AI, right? So it bypass the human intelligence. So uh, if it is bypass human intelligence, then that will own us, right? That will do a lot of things because it has lot of intelligence, so that it can do better than human, and yeah, that is a major disadvantages of artificial intelligence. So that's why the IBM come up with the concept called cognitive computing, so that the machine only can assist. Okay, so because all the industry leaders like Google and Microsoft and IBM and Amazon, they are very reluctant on doing super AI. Okay, because that won't help us. So that is the main thing is happening now, because we are limiting the machine intelligence to some extent, so that it won't harm us. It should help us. So that is a major thing everyone is going through now.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm sorry to disturb now. We can take up question answer at the end.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. It disturbs the flow of the presentation.
Sure, sir. Okay, so now we saw the timelines of general artificial intelligence. The same way, IBM is also having the path to cognitive computing. So how come it come to cognitive computing from time to time, right? So IBM is mainly on having a lot of supercomputers. Okay, so it has a lot of ability to do tasks very quickly, and it is doing the analytics even better. So mainly the IBM map to cognitive path is on supercomputer progress only. Okay, so so various you can read it lately. So I just quickly go through it and tag only the important things here. So mainly the synapses. Okay, so you can read it in article. So it is a brain inspired chip. Okay, so that is invented by IBM in 2015. So 2000 around 2015, and it is mainly on emulate human brain ability to for perception, action, and cognition. Okay, so that is a reason things happening from IBM, and also computer simulation of human brain. So that is also happened. So so all these things are making the main agenda here is like to mimic human brain and understand how the human brain works, and see how we can simulate in the machine also. Okay, so how we can implement the same thing in machine also. So the machine is not the flesh like human, right? So it is only having a limitation of some metals. So so that kind of things also considered, and based on that the research is going on there. Okay, so the thing is that interactive decision making and reasoning on deep domain models. For example, if you tell the kid like a particular concept, then only the kid can understand, right? So without training that, without learning, how can it understand like this is ball or this is forest or something like that? So a similar way, the machine also need to be trained with the different domains. Okay, for example, healthcare. If the machine need to understand about all the terms and deep understanding about the healthcare means we need to feed all the data related to healthcare and provide the expert supports to the machine so that it understand the healthcare domain better. So the same way, the cognitive computing. So we are doing lot of learning aspects here. So we are doing lot of learning to the machine using Watson Studio. So and provide feeding lot of documents there also. Okay, so I will show you all these things. So when you see about artificial intelligence, you always think about a robot, right? But in IBM, it is not a robot. It is a very giant server. It is a supercomputer that do all the things. So in Watson and the IBM cognitive platform, so what it do is like it is supporting the various domains and solutions. It is parsing the visual sites and video, audio, all those things, and also it is translate the text, and also it is supporting domains like healthcare, genomic, oncology, drug discovery, many more. Okay, so the major process here is like first it understand the unstructured data and structured data, and it will convert all those data into the machine understandable form. Okay, so that is the first task it do, and then reason. So after understanding the particular unstructured or structured data, so it need to reason it, right? So like when we see a building, we understand like it is a structured thing, right? So same way, the machine will understand like all the structured, all the converted text into the reasoning. So this is what it is used, and how mainly what is a major link with the text. All those things are happening in reasoning. Okay, so it also prioritize recommendation like based on the initial learning, it comes up with some classes. Classes is nothing but understand particular text. So so it will provide all the information to the you will get more understanding when I show the demo. So it will give the information to the human so that human take the decision. For example, if the machine see one tree, okay, and understand it is like a forest, but when the human see that it is only a single tree, right? So that kind of decision the human will help him. Okay, so the initial stages in while progressing, the machine itself will automatically understand all those things based on the decision made by human. Okay, and then learn. So the learn is nothing but the accumulate and ingest data. So whatever it learns from the human during the reasoning, it will capture all the information, and the next time it will apply that learning process during the reasoning. Okay, so that the next time it won't come back with a single tree and tags like a forest. It won't come back like that. Okay, it will make sure like the collective collection of trees is a forest, or a lot of information it needs, right, the for to define the forest, right? So all those information, if it is got only, it will come back with a forest. And it is mainly trained, not programmed. There is no if else condition here. Okay, it is mainly on training basis, and based on the reasoning it will understand particular events or incidents or text or words or sentence or anything. Okay, or video, audio, everything. Okay, it is nothing but understand like things like a human. So how we can make the machine to understand like a human? We are doing all these three processes. First one is understand, reason, and learn. Okay, so this is a Watson application. So IBM Watson. So I think you had already had a session from Vimal for IBM Cloud, right? So all these Watson capabilities, you can get it from the cloud also. So that's what the major things here. So we have a lot of Watson APIs to do lot of different AI techniques here. To do the cognitive computing. So it is still progressing. Each and every APIs are still progressing. Lot of research going on each and everything to make it 100% perfect. But still a long way to go. But the major APIs are here. So the Knowledge Studio. Okay, so the Knowledge Studio is nothing but to store all the information for all the unstructured information. Okay, so that is the main main functionality of the Knowledge Studio, and it come back with mathematical models. It will analyze the data and come back with the mathematical models. So we have language translator. If you want to translate a particular language to English or English to a particular language, then you can do it with the language translator. Almost all the languages are available here. For example, if you want to do some application, and you can usually call these APIs to convert your data or to represent your data. For example, you want to do a chatbot using Tamil. Okay, then you can use language translator API. You just need to register the API and call it. That's it. Okay, and you just feed the information in English or in Bengali or whatever language you want to do. So you can do it easily through this language translator. So we have tone analyzer. Tone analyzer is nothing but, for example, when someone speak to us, right? So we understand in what tone they are speaking to us. It is a happy mode or anger mode or a confused mode. So all those things, the tone analyzer API will help us. For example, if you want to understand the email content, whether it is what mode it is, so what tone it is, then you can use this API. Okay, so we have Watson Assistant. You can easily do a chatbot using Watson Assistant. It has also have the cognitive ability to understand the intent of the user. So what he is really asking in the conversation. So all those things you can do with Watson Assistant. So next one, I will show you in the real time so that you can easily understand. Whatever I can cover in here, I will do it. So speech to text and text to speech. So all those things you know with the name itself. And we have personality insights. So for example, if you want to understand the profile of a particular person, so then it will come back with the personality of the person, and it will tell you the exact things about that person. So for example, if you talk with them, you don't understand about him, but whenever this machine will give you different aspects of that person. Okay, so that you can relate. Okay, so you can't decide on that, but you can relate with that information. So we have natural Watson Discovery. In Google, we are searching a lot of information, right? So whether it is cognitive enabled, so that is a question mark. But in Watson Discovery, what it can do is like if you do a search for a particular things, it will search that item like a human. Okay, so that is the main thing of Watson Discovery. And we have visual recognition. It will recognize a particular image and tell us like what image it is. So all those things are available here. Okay, so I will quickly go through So a quick demo, okay, and see what is the real environment, the real environment is. So one second. So I told you about the Watson Studio, right? One second. Yeah, meanwhile, while during it is loading, I can answer some of the questions. Uh, the supercomputer follow an algorithm of its own for processing the job. Yeah, it's definitely, it is mainly on neural network basis. Okay, so a lot of algorithms are available there, and it's still growing. Okay, because a lot of algorithms are tested, and if it is not working, then we are going with another approach. So that's still a lot of progress are happening there. So this is a Watson Studio. Okay, so I will show you a weather project. Okay, so how the domain is trained here. So here, so as you all know, this platform is this platform will provide you to understand the unstructured data better, and also there is a human involvement. That means the experts involvement to do the analysis and make the decision better. Okay, so here the data sets before that. So this is a IBM cloud. So this is the IBM cloud. Once you log in, you will have different options. Once you log in, you will get like this, and you can, if you are clicking on the Watson, right? So it will provide all the abilities, like what are things you can do with Watson. So build a chatbot, extract insights, convert audio to into text. So a lot of APIs are available. You can go with it. Is very simple steps you can do immediately, and to get the user ID and password. So using that, you can connect to the APIs. So this is a Watson Studio. So here it is an existing thing. So it is a weather information. So I will show you the weather information. Okay, so this is the information collected from various sources, and it will show you a different weather attributes. Okay, so using this, we are learning different aspects of the weather. Okay, so for that, usually the Watson Studio, what thing we can do is like we will have a analysis like a notebook kind of thing. What we can do is like we can understand that particular data in different aspects, and we can apply different mathematical models also, time series forecasting. So these things actually we can have a Python code, or or any language you can do coding, and do the analysis of the data. So you can create a model and feed those models into the system, so that in the next time it can use this modeling information for any other application. So all the application like Visual Studio, or a text to speech, or speech to text, and personality insights, or natural language processing, all those things are connecting to this Watson Studio for domain specific details. For example, I am creating a chatbot with healthcare data. but the healthcare data will be fed into this Watson Studio, okay, so that experts will do all the analysis of the data and provide the exact information on the healthcare information here. For example, here it is a weather model, okay, so the weather specific details are added here, and that in specific informations are stored in Watson Studio, and the assistant and use this Watson Studio to get a domain specific conversation. Okay, so that's what the thing happened. So I just give you a glimpse of this so that you understand what is happening in the real time. So what is exactly happening in the real time. Okay, so the next is Watson Assistant. So the Watson Assistant, when you click on Watson Assistant, so you can create different entities. Okay, so for example, I want to have a Watson Assistant with have a customer care as well as COVID-19 capabilities. So then I can add an entity for related things for COVID-19 and customer care, and also I can also add intents. Okay, so intents actually, so what are the intent of the user, right? So if the particular user is in that particular intent, then what we can do. Okay, so those kind of marking we are doing here. For example, if the particular person is asking whether what is appointment time, okay, so if he is asking the question like that, then the system will understand like, oh, it is related to customer care appointment intent. So based on that, it will act accordingly. Okay, so it is nothing but parsing the text, understand the intent, and act accordingly. Okay, so that is a major thing in the reality inside it is happening. But all these intents, entities, and all the stuff, right? So what we do is like all these things we mark everything in the Watson Studio, okay, while doing the domain training. Okay, so in the Watson Studio we do the domain training for customer care or COVID-19 or anything. So from that we understand all the entities, intents, and everything, and then we tag all the entries or entities or intent, and these intents will be used in any of the Watson APIs. So for example, if I want to try it, this is a thing I'm going to create now. So I'm just a hi, hello, something like that. It will also greet you. It is a, if you note it down, it is a general greeting. Okay, so it will show you all the intents. Okay, so something like that. I can ask like. Um, So it is asking the relevant questions like what day would you like to come in? Okay, so this kind of intelligence is added to this chatbot, but it is all based on all the intents and everything. So the dialogue conversation, you can also set it up here. So how you can do the dialogue. Okay, so what are the questions expected, and all these questions, what is the intent it is attached to it. So all those things you can set here, so that you can set up a complete chartboard using this application, using this Watson Studio. So you can try this one. Okay, you just need to log into the IBM cloud and go with the Watson, and from there you can click on create a chartboard. So this is one of the example, and another one I will show you is like visual recognition. Okay, so visual recognition, one second. So in visual recognition, I am just feeding this image. Okay, for example, and it will provide you the top classes, because IBM Watson Studio is already trained with different classes, so with material and all those stuff. So based on that image, it will come back with information like it is a fabric of this much score. So all those things it will show you. Okay, so the thing is that what I'm telling you is like you can play with all these things, okay, and understand what is the real thing behind it, and slowly you can, if you are having some hands-on all these in some of these APIs, then you will get some basic understanding as for what is going behind it, okay, behind that. So based on that, you can improve your knowledge on artificial intelligence and start slowly doing the mathematical models and all those stuffs using the Watson Studio. So you also have a lot of other options available outside also. But what I am feeling is like in IBM it is far easy than others. So it is a very easy thing, and you can create application in a second. Okay, so there is no much experience required, and a lot of videos, documents, everything is available. So whatever you want to do, you can do it. You can easily create a mobile application with Watson enabled. That means the cognitive computing enabled, so that it will answer your questions more intelligently. Okay, so that's what the main aim here is. So that's what I want to show you here. Sorry. So the another one I want to show you is like, for example, if I just some media information. So I'm just analyzing the text using the natural language understanding, that is API. So what it will do is like it will parse the information and come back with the different entities like so the stadium information, Atlanta and everything, and also the keywords. So what are the keywords it can capture based on its training? Okay, so all those things it come back, and what are the concepts involved. So from this text, from this paragraph, what it understands, it is mainly on film, entertainment, World Wide Web, theater. So you can analyze any text. Okay, so but the major thing is like the Watson Studio should be trained with all these things. So that is a major thing here. So if the particular domain is trained, for example, the entertainment and media is trained in Watson, it will give you a more accurate results than anything. Okay, and relations. So has attribute ambush. So how the two entities are related. So all those things it will show you. So these things are practically used in the UI applications or your mobile applications or web-based applications, all those things. So only thing is like you just need to hit this API and get the output. Okay, and another main aspect is like you need to train the Watson Studio to understand the particular domain better. So whatever application you are creating, so you have the data, right? So those data you have to feed with Watson Studio and model it and prepare it for any queries, and it will provide you excellent results based on that. So the thing is that these and all the second layer, middle layer. Okay, the core layer has lots and lots of algorithms are available from neural networks, and so a lot of mathematical models also involved, linear models and binary models. A lot of models are available there. So based on that, they are providing all these services to you. Okay, so these services, some parts are free, you can use for 30 days. Other services you have to pay. Okay, so we can hope you get a basic idea of what is there. So what practically in where you can use all these AI applications. Okay, how we can use it, and how perfectly you can use it. All those things you can try with this Watson, so you get better understanding. Based on that understanding, you can go with some advanced levels, and you can do better. And you can also create your own algorithm to analyze the data, text, or anything, and you can create a human kind of machine. Okay, and using all this information. So just you understand what is happening in the reality. So what I'm telling is like where do I start? So you just you have a high level idea about artificial intelligence. So where do I start? So you can start any problem. Okay, pick any problem in and around you. It can be anything. Okay, and just use this open artificial intelligence solutions like Watson Studio or Google enabled some solutions are there. So all those things you can pick up those platform, okay, and then you can try to solve your problem there, okay, using simple models. Not initially you can go with very simple models and come back with analysis or something like that, and then going forward you can try. For example, if you try with a simple model, you will get output. Okay, based on the output, if you are not satisfied, you can try with another model. Okay, it is all nothing but analyzing the text and come back with the predictions. Okay, for example, in 100 years history of weather data, okay, you can get all the possibilities of the 100 years weather data only. Okay, so not more than that. Using that 100 years of data, what can you predict? Okay, so already the data with all the possibilities are already available with you. So using that, what you can predict, and you can create a numerous prediction model of that 100 years history of weather, and you can also predict the future weather events. Okay, so that is the main intent of weather project. So the thing is that it's all about data. So whatever we perceive from different sources, right? For example, in very old astronomers in India, they predict lot of events in future. They written in the books also. So using that, what they used internally is like the data. Okay, the frequency of data, how it is repeating, okay, and where it is going to peak, and where it is stabilized. So all those aspects, they analyze the data and come back with a prediction. The same way, you can also use all these unstructured data from different sources. Now the data is available, vast amount of data are available. Okay, you can get information anywhere. Okay, so from country to country or the whole universe, a lot of things are available. So you can gather all this data and run a simple mathematical model and come back with the analysis. Okay, and based on that, you can improve your model. That means nothing but inside you are doing all the mathematical calculations. Okay, because mathematical calculations are nothing but the abstract of a abstract of the concept. For example, E is equal to mc square. It is a relativity theory, right? So they are simply explaining the whole thing in three English words like E equal to mc square, right? So the same way, you gather all the information and come back with a simple mathematical model. Okay, and that model will be utilized for next set of analysis or future analysis, because you are not satisfied with that, right? So you will do more and more and come back with a perfect model of that particular data. So that's what it is. It's nothing but analyzing the data and come back with a prediction, so that the machine can understand even better about what is happening in reality, so that in future it will provide you more perfect predictions for anything. So for real-time experience, what you can do is like you can attend Kaggle competition risk-free, or a lot of hackathons are going on, so you can attend those and have a real-time feeling, so that you will get a lot of exposure to that, and using that experience, you can have your own thing. So now you start with a simple problem. The next time you will come back with a bigger problems, and you are solving that problem. So the cycle repeats. Okay, so this is what you can learn from this artificial intelligence. That's what the world is doing now, because no solutions are perfect now. Okay, so still we are growing. So this is a very nice area. So you can explore, and you do a lot of research on this area. It is really interesting because you are making one more person to think like you, right? So he will provide you more support in future. So that is what the main intent of this artificial intelligence area. Okay, so I also attached some reference to you, so that you can go there and see a lot of information there. So I think we can go to the question and answer section now, or else before that I want to cover some aspects of Watson Studio. Okay. So Watson Studio, I told you, right? It is mainly to train the machine for a particular domain. So who are all roles are applied there? So who are all there to do the actual jobs, right? So we have domain experts, data scientist, data engineer, and the developer. The domain experts is nothing but he feed all the information. For example, if it is a healthcare, he feed all the information about the healthcare data, and including all the information reports, and patient daily reports, all those things he feed it. And then the data scientist, what he will do is like we show the Python screen, right, creating the models. So the ML DL engineer, what he will do is like he will do the modeling of the analyzed data come from the Watson Studio. So he prepare a lot of prediction model or whatever model it is. So he prepared it, and he feed all the model information to the Watson Studio. So the data engineer, what he do is like he set up all the infrastructure facilities for that model to run. Okay, so that the developer, that means you, whoever is using that APIs, right? That is you. So we can simply call that API and create a front end, back end, or mobile, or any platform. You can use those information. It is nothing but simply calling the API, but you have to train the platform with all the domain data. Okay, so then only you can utilize it fully. So if you want 100% perfect results, you have to do a lot of training and with a lot of experts also. Okay, because the doctors expertise in cancer and all, they can train the system well. They can tell the system like this is right and this is wrong, and make the system to do a better decisions. Okay, so I think we can go with the QA now. Okay, any questions?
Hello, ma'am. Am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. First question that has already been entertained. The second question by Shubham Shekhar was can spam filtering in email be used as an example of AI and how?
Sorry, I'm unable to hear you properly. Sorry.
Hello?
Can spam filtering in email be used as an yeah.
Hello, ma'am?
I got it. I just read through that and answer that. Yeah. Can spam filtering and in email be used as an example of AI? Spam filtering. Yeah, it is some extent. Okay, so you can't use it fully, but yeah, you can do that. Because but you need to train the machine with what is spam, okay, and how you can identify the spam and all. So you can do that. Cognitive network and cognitive computing are different.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Does that answer your questions? Yeah.
Hello?
Shivam Shekhar.
Sorry, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible now. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. The second question by Sham Kumar. The second question by Sham Kumar is, could brief the difference between the cognitive network and the cognitive computing.
Yeah, cognitive network is actually the term difference are here, but what is a specific difference is like cognitive network provide you the connection between the different elements of the domain. Okay, is how the information in the particular domain connected. Okay, the cognitive computing is nothing but the machine models, language models, deep learning models. So all the computing, the complete thing, it is called cognitive computing. So it involves all the training aspects as well as the modeling and